Good morning, parents, and good morning, Megha Sharma. Thank you for taking the time out to help us understand the newly launched BA Honours program at NLSIU, which is National Law School, Bangalore. The entire country knows that National Law School is the number one ranked law school in the country, and very, very happy to know that you've launched a new program to help the non-law aspirants to also get a taste of this fantastic teaching pedagogy at the NLS campus. A little bit about our guest for today. Our guest is Dr. Megha Sharma. She is the assistant professor at NLSIU Bangalore. She's a JNU PhD, and her interests include gender, the informal economy, global history of labor, and law. Her published works include digital archives, global history pedagogy, and she's currently working on a monograph and co-editing legal consciousness in South Asia. Dr. Sharma is also a visiting fellow at the Australian National University, specifically the Australian Studies Institute. So thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, for taking your time out and helping us understand this new offering. Over to you.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much, Rahul, for giving us an opportunity to talk about our new program. So I have a presentation, PPT. I'll start with that. And as Rahul said, that we'll take up questions towards the end. So as Rahul already mentioned, that NLS has been known and has been the premier in legal education, particularly its BA LLB program. But gradually, NLS has been expanding with a master's in public policy, with a 3-year LLB. And within these conversations, as the image or the prestige of NLS has been to connect law with social sciences, lies the sweet corner through which the conversation started along the need for having a dedicated program that deals with the social science aspect as it was emerging in the law classrooms. And that's where the idea of the BA comes in. We already have an established social science faculty. We obviously run the core courses that run the BA LLB program as is. And it is the aspiration of the BA program to not only continue, but also to grow and expand on the kind of pedagogic strategies, activities, and classroom dialogues that NLS is known for. So, interdisciplinary and holistic curriculum, a focus on internships, which is the practical application of what you'll be getting in the classrooms, are all the things that NLS has been trying to achieve and BA promises to take forward. So as I said, it will replicate the model of the unique pedagogy that NLS stands for, the rigorous training that both comes through a thorough reading of the text, but also the ability to develop critical and creative thinking that goes beyond the classrooms when the students enter the mandatory internships, of which we'll get to know more in a minute. We also have been collaborating with universities both in India and abroad, the idea being the cultural and the intellectual exchanges that facilitates the growth of the student, like we said, not only as current students, but also as future generation professionals. And these are just among the few of the universities with whom we've been collaborating and working with. In terms of the logistical side of both the BA program and the BA LLB, we follow a trimester system which runs particularly through 3 months. The academic year starts in July, from where it runs till September. Towards the end of September, we have the exams that wraps up the first term. So it continues through November and March. In the case of BA, the design is of 3 years. However, the students do have the opportunity of taking a 4th year if they wish to. That will be the research year. The connection between, so if BA LLB has been existing in the classrooms, what would be the connection between BA and BA LLB would be? Both of them are standalone courses, although there'll be some parts of the courses which will be taught together, and I'll come to what the common core curriculum is. The first year of the BA in at NLS is marked by the 6 foundational courses. The 6 foundational courses introduce the students into the different disciplines within the BA. So when I say BA, what do I mean? BA is divided across four disciplines: history, politics, sociology, and economics. All of the students will have the option of picking a major, which could be any of these disciplines, but irrespective of the major of their decision, of their choosing or their liking. So, for instance, a student can choose to be a major in economics, but irrespective of that, in the first year of their BA, spread across the 3 terms, which I just said, of the 3 months, they'll be doing foundational and common core courses drawing from all of these disciplines. With the major, they'll have the option of picking up a minor. So, for instance, if they're doing economics, they're sitting in these common core lectures, and then they see that what they wish to do or what their research interest as they're developing could benefit from perhaps pairing the economics with politics, right? So the major will be economics and the minor will become politics, so on and so forth. There are different combinations that can be made through it. There are also an option of doing majors. So you could pick, for instance, history and sociology and decide to do 2 of these majors together. That will change some things for you in terms of the requirements of credits, but I'll come to that in a minute. So what it does, this structure is, it allows the students, irrespective of what they wish to apply, to at least have a core understanding of both the conceptual as well as the methodology across these disciplines, but more importantly, to see how they sing and talk to each other. The idea is that as students are coming out of the schools and entering the university system, they should be made more curious, more critical, more appreciative of what they see around them. And this academic training is geared towards that goal, that gradually you understand that you may be familiar with these subjects at the school level, but it will entirely change when you come to the university system. But so as to not get overwhelmed by these, the idea is to gradually keep on introducing these courses. So the first year will be spread across these. I'll also come to what these exactly are. But before I do that, what are the practice courses? So like I said, the BA is also set out both with academic training and with the professional bent in mind. So what is the professional bent that we have in mind? Is to introduce courses which will help them in taking it forward to the job market. But of course, the job market is not at the mind of a first year, but at the mind of a third year BA student. So it's only towards the end of the second year and as they are progressing towards the third year, they'll be introduced to professionally oriented courses which are geared towards primarily dealing with the needs of the job market. Along with that, they'll be doing regular internships each year. They'll have open electives. I'll come to what the open electives are, but open electives is essentially an opportunity again for the students to build on their interest. So they will, so for instance, if they are majoring in economics or history, either of those, they'll have to do mandatory courses under each of these, right? And if, for instance, they are minoring in sociology, but then what happens to politics? Politics can still come in the later years as they have the option of taking open electives. So the idea is that you have your focus, but you also don't lose all the threads which you were introduced to in the first year. The fourth year of the tract is for research and will be dissertation oriented, which will, of course, as it says, only be offered to few select students based on merits and other considerations. The entire course structure is spread across 148 credits. Each course offers 4 credits, and that's spread across. So 4 credits essentially means how much time they are spending. A common course at NLS will require 3 hours, 3 classes per week, and each class is of about 2 hours. All right. Now, if we come to the features of the program, which I'm building on what I started on in the beginning, the aspect of wonder, curiosity, appreciation, and critique is something that's critical to the design of the BA. And the curriculum, of course, has been set not only by the university's faculty, but also in consultations with experts externally to build on what are the true features of the program in order to make the students, like I said, not only competitive academically, but also be professionally sound. And that's why it builds on both social science and humanities, building deep reading and writing skills as something which is critical for someone who's entering the university education system. Coming back to the Common Core, as I said, that there are, and this is one of the most unique features that NLS has to offer, and great attention and detail has gone into compiling what would you see in front of you are 6 courses, each of which are offered through the first year, and none of them are directly tied to one discipline, but draw from the expertise of each. So, for instance, in narrative, the students sit and understand how to read text, something which may seem simple enough as an activity we've been doing since we begin how since we gain literacy and since we pick up a book. But what's difference between a general reading, reading that we do out of leisure, and an academic reading? And that is a course to which they'll be introduced to in the first term itself before they take on the heavy load of discipline specific reading. The expectation being that as students understand what it is expected to read and write, only then they'll be able to critically think and develop the skills that are required for each discipline. Society is taught by the sociology cohort, is essentially drawing from methods of sociological inquiry. But again, like I said, it's not specific to a disciplinary foundation, but is orienting towards how do you gain the tools, whether or not you decide to major in sociology or not. And likewise, history, uh, power, and economy do the same for their particular disciplines. Now, like I said, these are the 4 major disciplines. The only thing that changes is from a major to a minor is that if you pick 2 majors instead of a 2 minor, then that's the 24 credits get converted into that. In addition to these 4 disciplines that can be the major minor combination, we also have, and we also have been trying to develop alternatives through legal studies and environment studies, which soon will be on an option for students to pick on. So, for instance, you could pick up economics and as a major, and then perhaps have environment studies as a minor. The practice courses which I was talking about get towards a professional training are going to be from AI learning, machine learning, digital journalism, policy advocacy, and analysis. So, as you would see, these courses have also been designed to make sure that not only are they responding to each discipline with which they've been introduced to in the initial years, but also are things which keep up not only with the updated market skills, but also give them a good grounding. So, irrespective of how the market looks like, these are skills which remain relevant beyond one particular discipline or beyond one career path for the students. The admission process to the NLS BA program happens through NLSAT, which will be conducted in April. We have welcomed our first batch in the previous year. The application forms will be available soon throughout January and March. Centers are available all across India, and you are free to pick through and walk through the website to see where and how you would like to appear for the admission test. This gives a brief idea of what the admission test would look like. It is divided into 2 parts, and the MCQs are basically reading comprehension, reasoning, and quantitative heavy. The part B will be 150 words, which will be short questions, which will draw from, for instance, questions and passages related to politics, governance, essentially tying to the disciplines within for which you'll be ultimately appearing and qualifying for. We'll also have the sample papers soon, as we already have conducted one round of admissions previous year, which will be available on our website. So if you haven't already done that, a good exercise would be to follow NLS social media handles to get regular updates on all of these. Another thing which I wish to highlight here is that each of the cohorts, the history, sociology, all of the 4 cohorts, if you wish to find out more about them, we'll also be conducting discipline-specific webinars, which you can find out more if you sign up for the BA, if you register for the BA at NLS's website. But if you also follow the social media, you'll get regular updates. It will be a good opportunity for the students to interact with the teachers of each discipline. And the other is that you also get a regular update of what are the opportunities through which the questions which may not be answered on the website and on the material available could be covered through that, could be addressed through that. The scoring is a little complicated in the sense that you must qualify the first part for part B to be evaluated. So both parts are quite important, and one must qualify one to get to the other. Right? I'll come back to this slide for in the end if there are any questions around it. Any information relating to financial aid or any other details, again, is available on this link, and you're free to also write to us in case there are any questions which may not be addressed. For those of you who may not be from Bangalore, if are not familiar, NLS is situated and is very well connected to the city. So the students will have access to a regular metro station, which is not more than 5 to 10 minutes away. They'll also have access to the city. They'll also have access to the hostel system, of which they will be able to connect and build on their community. This is just to get a sense of what the life of the student looks like outside the classroom. Now, in terms of how the BA sits with the overall NLS's structures and programs that we offer, the BA students do get institutional preference. What does it translate to? Is an preference for the 2 programs, which are the 3A LLB and the MPP. Of course, for both of these, they will still have to sit through the NLSAT, which is a common exam set for all, apart from the BA LLB, which is through CLAT. All the other admissions to NLS happens through NLSAT. So they'll still have to sit for NLSAT at the end of their degree. The MPP is the Masters in Public Policy, but they will have an institutional preference within it. Okay, that's just a sense of if they wish to pursue and what would their options be at NLS after the BA. But like I said, our orientation has also been towards preparing them for the job market, which is where we also have suggestive list of careers that they can pursue linked to each discipline, in whichever combination they may wish to pursue it. The internships are mandatory for each year. However, we have kept it diverse in terms of what kind of internship they will do at the end of each year. So, for instance, an immersive or a professional and a placement internship, an immersive internship is an opportunity for them to perhaps work through an NGO, basically to get a richer understanding of the glass root, to get out of the classroom and interact a bit, but nothing too overwhelming, as they will still be a first-year student. Professional and placements are oriented more towards a second year and a third year student, which is the time of the placement internship, where we expect the student to have a well-formed idea of where they wish to be, and an opportunity to draw on their learnings of the 2-year. So in that design, or with that expectation, we have spread across the internships. Again, perhaps I can come back to it if there are any specific questions to what each career path would look like. But like I said, it draws on both what they will do as a conceptual, theoretical, but also a practical understanding, which they will have through these years. If, of course, there are enough opportunities outside NLS as well, which they can pursue through these. While at NLS and inside the classroom, there are also a series of academic events and academic opportunities that they have at the university. One of these being the scholarly journals that NLS students have been running and have been putting out quite successfully each year. There are also a bunch of cultural activities, and what you see in front of you is a new football ground, which of course has been a source of excitement for many of our students. So, be it cultural activities, be it sports activities, be it like the slide says, a film club, any of these pursuits that they may have, singing, dancing, all a holistic orientation that NLS has been offering over many years and will continue to offer and nurture to its students in the coming years. These are, of course, the links through which and the scanner. If either way you can follow any of these to get more information and to sign up for the updates. I'll pause here and we can perhaps take it up through questions. Thank you so much for your attention today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sharma, for that elaborate description. Looks very exciting. Yes, parents, if you have any questions, anything